All right, and welcome back to the Talking Tactical podcast. Of course, I just opened in with a fun joke, so that always makes it interesting. So, all right, and welcome back to the Talking Tactical podcast. Of course, there we go, fixed it. So we were on episode 23, 22, 23.
We are 23.
23. Yay, episode 23. We're still going. This is going to be our second last Thursday show. Next week will be the last one, and then we're going to be switching back to our Sunday schedule, which is what we originally launched on. So tonight we have...
Oh, nothing.
Okay. So tonight we have Return of the Gallagher with many a Star Wars helmets in the background and alcohol ensue. And as always, I have my co-host Nero Wolf with me. So how have you guys been enjoying the fall weather finally getting to us?
It's not really here. It's been like 21, 22.
It kind of got cold. I got to put my jacket on for a couple of days. That counts, right? Leaves are changing.
Tell that to the temperature inside of a shop when there's no air conditioning. Still feels like summer.
And 100 carpenters and laborers and painters and heat and lights and camera.
And mouth breathers.
Action.
And mouth breathers everywhere.
Indeed.
Oh, your new sets, or your tool chest that you have going on at work is always interesting, Gallagher. I always have fun seeing your projects pop up on my Facebook feed. So, and then there's Nero, and he's like
never-ending one.
I'm special effects. I'm special.
I'm not at all. I'm special effects' little bitch. I'll be honest. I love it though. I clean up after the Mythbusters. That's what I always told people when I first started. It's like I clean up after the Mythbusters. They blow shit up and I sweep up the mess.
Fair enough.
That's my job.
The debris.
Exactly. Once in a while, I get to like shake dust on people, which is fun.
Throw snow.
Yeah, not Jon Snow though.
Yeah.
Look at you. Yeah. Show off the gun show there, Gally. Someone's been going to the GM. What's your start time tomorrow, Gallagher? You want a carpool?
Are you back with us?
Oh yeah, 7 a.m.
The fuck?
Surprise!
Yeah, I'm 7 a.m. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh wait, no, I'm at Acme, and I'm probably gonna finish at Acme at like 6:30. Never mind. Anyways, so welcome back, Gallagher. So what have you been up to? How's life, love, and other drugs?
Everything good? You're gonna put me on the spot. I don't know. Life's been fine. Lots of work. Super busy. Starting to slow down a little bit, so I finally have time to actually get back to my own things. I'd be, getting home and just like immediately going to bed. I worked a stupid night shift this week, which made me hate this week since the beginning of it. But then now I'm like back on the regular schedule, so I'm not quite so angry with this week. But besides that, it's been awesome. Been producing a lot of props.
Yeah.
Making a lot of new things.
Daddy, no!
I have a dog.
Love me, Daddy!
You're not talking to me!
Hi, dog. Whose name I can never remember.
Smokey.
Hi, Smokey.
He's like, that's my name! That's my name!
He's going to be my XO at the event 2 weeks from now at Sector. He's
risky.
No, kind of. It's going to be the cookie commander. I didn't realize how
great idea.
Black his fur is until he got on this show, and I'm like, I can't even see your face. Hi, thank you for the kisses. You get a little.
All you see is like the whites of his eyes when he looks around.
Yeah, pretty much. Smokey. Oh no, we're gone.
Fantastic. He'll be back.
Oh yeah, probably.
Anyways, special guest star Smokey.
Yay! And Gallagher. And Gallagher's
No Bandit.
Mandalorian helmets.
Of course. Mandalorian and Clone Troopers.
Republic Commando!
Republic Commando.
No, still a Clone Trooper. Still a Clone Trooper.
Technically, yes.
Eh.
So, what's our topic?
So, our topic
was going to be
Gallagher's back.
Gallagher's back and customized gear and stuff like that.
Well, that's all for tonight, folks.
Customized gear. We tried to get a hold of Rolo. He never got back to me. But because you're generally you two are the guys who do the modding, and you do 3D printing now and prop making. So yeah.
I freaked up my camera there for a second.
We're putting you on the spot. What is behind you there? What is that large black thing on your right? I believe.
That's a computer, likely. Oh,
okay. Then Oh, what is this?
This is something for Tate Van Hollander.
Mm-hmm.
It's a butt plug. No, it's not.
It's a butt plug for Nate Bum.
It's a
Nate
40
like
millimeter.
stuff.
It's a 40
in the
millimeter
bum.
one.
Someone forgot to share this on.
I should go dig out that folding air through stock that you were telling people about. That
Yes.
first.
You should.
Yes,
I'm
you
gonna go
should.
see if I can find that.
Do it.
All right,
as
so-
I share this on the Twitster.
Yeah, because we're totally organized tonight. Yay.
Oh, I know. It was last minute. As always,
like
guys.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I got home late. He got home late, and Gallagher was sitting at home twiddling his thumbs, as always,
Pretty
because
much.
he finishes early.
But yeah, so to kind of talk about what's maybe going on in the next little bit. So paintball-wise, 'cause it is a paintball podcast sometimes. There is an event 2 weeks from now at Sector in Oshawa for those that are interested in going. I'll be generaling a blue side, which means roughly telling people where to go on the field because it's not like an official bid game. So I'm excited for that because that's going to be the first time I'm going to get out in a while. And trying to convince everyone else to come out. So yeah, if you are going to be in the Oshawa, Kawartha, Durham region, definitely check it out. Should be a lot of fun. It's a zombie theme, so it should be good. And
I was holding my breath that whole time. It was a bad idea.
there we go. Yeah. So what about you, Nero? Are you hitting the field? You're busy weekends, aren't you?
This weekend I put myself as
This
available
is Thanksgiving
for work.
weekend, so Canadian
I know
Thanksgiving.
it doesn't matter. It's Canadian Thanksgiving, and I work for American companies.
Yep.
So it's money making weekend for us because they have to pay us Canadian wages.
Yay. So what about the
TV
weekend after? Are
money.
you working then, or you don't know yet?
That is in-laws, I believe, and then Sunday we have podcast.
Yes. Sunday we'll have the podcast,
So-
but
I'll be back home for that after in-laws.
it's fun. She got Gallagher to mute himself. Can I mute him?
Nope. I'm too lazy. I can't find it. That's depressing. It's
Oh,
somewhere. But I did find the original project that spurned all of my shenaniganery, at
that was
least with
interesting.
air through stocks. And
Nero, I feel like we need to screen cap you with your new white background and get you like shows or what is it, glam shots. All right, let's take a look,
I already
Gallagher.
did that today. I was messing around with my the camera app. Oh yeah,
essentially the very original HCS system, just did not have a tank in, was a chopped Honey Badger style M4 SOP mod stock
Hold on.
that I jammed an ASA and a system into, and it threaded on. And this was before Milsig released theirs. This was basically Evan and I built these as beta models, idea models, for them to produce them.
Skunk Works.
I don't know. Valancourt said to entertain him or else he's out. I think that's pretty cool. I'm trying to get a close up of it right now, though.
Well, I'd love to dance and jump and do tricks, but my background limits that to like
6
this.
inches.
As much as I've got. Oh, yeah. Right. And in your mind, this is 6 inches. Sorry.
I'd be a horrible carpenter. I would be a very bad carpenter if that was a
Yeah.
reality.
You know what? After working a week in a carp shop, there are a lot of really bad carpenters out there. A lot
Hey,
of wood filler.
Gallagher,
Very
can
high-
you-
Best friend.
Can you hold up your piece? I'm gonna. There we go. I got it zoomed in on you. It took me a second to redo it. So that's. Wow. Yeah. That's super cool. So it's at so it's what like how did you make it? Like cuz it is
Basically-
like it's remote line-ish, so
It is. What basically ended up happening was I ended up sourcing, because Evan did it the correct way and took a chopped cat's stock and mounted it because this had an M4 threaded style buffer tube. What I did was manage to find, it's impossible for me to actually remove this because it's like red Loctited, so it would never come apart.
Mhm.
This is essentially you know how the remote lines have their plug that screws in
Yeah.
that has the nipple. It's usually only like 3/8 of an inch on the base of the knurling. I managed to find an ASA thread plug that was like 1.5 inches long
Mhm.
on some random buy-sell trade, and I was like, oh my god, this is the most perfect thing ever. So I bought that, dremeled and carved out the inside of this so it would fit smoothly, inserted it, and then took a 90-degree brass adapter and a PSI Works Pro Connect and attached it through this, so it basically clamps it together. It does twist, it does move.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
But that was literally so I could thread it on and then align this how I needed to. And in order to make sure it had the proper seal, I would take just a couple O-rings and stack them inside so it would get the right amount of tension. And then,
Sure enough.
Up's your
Gen
uncle.
1.
Yeah.
The Gen 1 HCS basically was born through
Prototype,
myself.
beta, alpha.
That's super cool.
Literally.
Alpha.
Ghetto. Super ghetto.
Yeah. It's still so cool to see where it started and then where it ended up. So, yeah.
That's crazy. You want to? I want to see that light up helmet again. That was so cool. You got to show people that one. That was so cool. Anybody who played Commando.
Later.
Later. Okay, later.
But when I have to do some really sketchy wiring again.
I think you and I spoke about furniture and stuff on guns and modding them in silly ways in the truck on one day. Did we not?
A little bit about the ridiculousness and the looks.
Oh Jesus!
And the function and versus form aspect of things.
Yeah. I mean, a barrel with a hopper or a magazine or a hopper. Either way, it's more than good enough for me.
When I end up looking at things, it comes down to like a Star Wars aspect of things. You know how they
always comes back. It always comes back to Star Wars.
Comes back. Okay, very original example is Han Solo's blaster is a C9 Mauser, and they put a goddamn fucking scope on the side of it. When I look at people putting all these ridiculous things on their paintball guns, and it's cool if you're doing it for looks, but then I have to go back and source the picture I took 5-6 years ago where I was making fun of people on a MagFed page. I literally took every single attachment I had, Picatinny or otherwise, and duct taped it / Picatinied it to a TIPX.
I remember this. I do remember this.
And that
was a fucking monster. It made no sense.
Ginormous. And it just was my way of making fun of everyone who, decides to throw all that kind of junk on their guns. Because it's okay, there are some people, it started with one person posting a couple things on their gun, and then someone else basically tried to one-up them by posting more random things on their gun. And then it just kept going and going until the point where I just was like, you know what? I have more attachments than all of you. I can one-up all of you. So I took every single attachment I had and duct taped it to a TIPX. I was like, just to make fun of everybody who just senselessly puts ridiculous attachments. I even took a 2000 lumen spotlight and duct taped it underneath just because. I have to go find this picture now. That's my stance on people putting random things on their guns. It comes out to a Star Wars aspect where it's now it's just stupid. Yeah. Now you're just going a little bit too far on things.
I think the only attachment, other than a foregrip, that has ever made sense is a light. For when you have PRZ night games, it makes sense. People who get some of the most ridiculous lights, to use it as a pulse strobe, when they did the strobe lighting and stuff like that, it makes sense, but really, we don't really need it. Lasers are the only thing about a laser that I can agree with is to mark things. So if you are using it not to know where you're shooting, but to be instead of wasting your shots being this target here, then okay, I get it. But
found the picture.
Yeah.
Shoot with me, fire for effect. I love that one though. It always works every time.
I have to agree with you with the flashlight because that was one of the things that that was the only attachment I'd actually legitimately use. When I had my Paradigm Pro, I had an angled foregrip, or sorry, not AFG, the ergo grip in front of the magwell, and I had a flashlight, not with a pressure switch, but I just had it so I could just tap it with my thumb.
Yeah.
I'd play at Paintball City, and it's a big-ass gun. It's Paradigm Pro with the long shroud and everything. I did shorten it up at one point, but I would just run through rooms and just go beep, 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 blink, blink, blink with the light, and people are just getting confused, and you come around the back and you shoot them.
Yeah.
The light is the biggest tactical advantage you can have in any sort of building that has CQC because of a distraction factor. It's a flashlight.
Yeah, and the other one too, though, is that people don't always think of is, do you have a mobile flashlight? Do you have one in your pocket to go out?
Yes.
Yeah. One thing, I don't think I've ever brought it up on the show, but I did have a security license at one point, and one of the big things they told us was, if you are going around places, do not hold your flashlight like this. You hold it to the side so that people like up, over, like, so you're not a body level. Yeah.
Typical body language. Make yourself bigger than you are. Hold that flashlight away from yourself, because if they're going to shoot, they're not going to shoot here. They're going to shoot there at that light. And I got scammed by a fake security company when I was like 20. It sucked. They were called even the name was sketchy. It was called Nighthawk Security. It fucking sucked. It was before that we actually had to have licenses, and they were a licensing company, and it was like right in the like 3 or 4 months before the licensing became a thing. And they've been doing this apparently for years. So I ended up getting on with some other company. They actually took pity on me because, like, yeah, we've heard a lot about those people. We're sorry. We'll hire you.
Yeah. Well,
what you're talking about with the light reminded me of that time we were talking in the truck about the cab lights over the truck, like the amber lights. You're like, yeah, it's just perfect for shooting. You know, just aim like 8 inches below the cab lights, and bam, there you go.
Yep, exactly.
Like, wow,
that's what I love about it. That's what I love about the apocalypse and stuff. If like it comes down to shooting at trucks, it's just like, all right, man, put on your freaking cab lights. Put all the lights, put every light you want. It's just going to give me a nice big black target
section
in the middle
somewhere
to aim for.
Yeah.
Yep. No, right in the middle, right where he is. It's going to give me somewhere to aim for, and pop, 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 pop. Fire for effect. He'll swerve and die eventually.
I'm going to send you that picture I was talking about.
Oh, I guess it's not a really good thing to talk about. Oh, I just got sent out pictures. Yep. So Gallagher the other guy who's in this, can
Gallagher,
share
send
that?
it to me on Facebook.
No. Yeah, you'll mess everything up.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I sent it through Skype.
Yeah,
or did I send? I don't know who I sent it to.
You
I readjusted my studio area so I can put my feet up.
Yeah,
it's a bad idea.
Okay? Here's a good one for you, because I've actually seen people who legitimately play the back sniper
my living room,
and I haven't seen it done or used properly. But have you seen people use tripods right, or actively on the field?
Bipods? Because tripods I've never seen. I've never seen a tripod.
I realized it after I said it.
Unless it was a... I've seen Gallagher do it. Gallagher's there's his little picture from our last
pictures of
video?
me on the rooftop.
Oh, I guess Gallagher's that way.
From PRZ. Yeah. Operation Honey Badger 2, I had the opportunity to sit on top of the roof of the 2-story building with a SAR 12 and 300 rounds of first strike, and there was a lot of butthurt people.
Mm-hmm. It happens a lot.
Leave it at that.
Well, I never went to Honey Badger 2, but I heard a lot of stories about from the Vice guys that you just decided to open fire on because you weren't sure if you were supposed to or not, and then when you saw them pointing guns towards you, you just like, yep.
I was just gonna I basically decided to terrorize them the entire day because they were my friends, and I was like,
I'm gonna make it difficult. You know, there's roof snipers. Tink,
yeah.
Tink. What ended the roof sniping?
General
just
safety.
The roof kind of slowly deteriorating.
Pardon me?
Slow deterioration of the roof. They couldn't justify people going up there anymore for shooting.
Yeah. The other one too, though, is that like that is something where you were in a specific location and you really weren't moving. I want to talk actively on the field. Like, have you seen people actively on the field?
Full time.
I have pictures of me properly using them too.
Yep.
Of me at Canadian Carnage 3 or 4 with my SAR 12, going up on the edge of a hill, also posting at the top of a building, positioned back, not on the fucking windowsill. Like everyone's like, oh, I just stick my gun on the windowsill, and then you have a giant sight picture. I actually set myself back, used the bipod on its side to brace against a strut, so that I had a forward lock instead of actually, sitting on the windowsill like everyone does, or resting their gun on the windowsill.
Well,
but yes, I've seen
always shoot from a concealed location, and try not to shoot with the sun to your face.
Yeah,
that it's bad. You're gonna have a bad time.
On the topic of Gallagher looks really, really creepy, and put some ridiculous stuff on his marker. Let's transition. Nero, can you pull up the photo so you can see it? On Skype.
Keep in mind,
I saw it in
this is me like 5
I've
years.
seen that thing. It's amazing.
That's
it's burned into
this
my
is what I look like
deep,
as
deep
a
retina. Oh, I've seen that too. I've seen him
Yeah.
like even with like the Hitler Youth haircut and the skinhead. Well, then again, there's pictures of me. I look like a fucking thumb.
I'm more impressed
terrible.
like that you have the sword taped on there too. Like that's the one that actually kills me on this.
That's a
Sword,
cold steel.
that was
That's a cold steel Gladius. Still have it.
Oh, was that? That's yours?
Yeah, it's a cold steel Gladius.
And-
The only other person I know that has that, is Jake Carlos.
No,
Yeah, he's got that and a Claymore.
I love the cold steel practice swords. You can like smash concrete block with them. Let's put it that way. They're not practice swords.
fucking
They're
monster.
bludgeoning weapons.
Well, they are practice swords. They're not meant to kill. They're meant to bludgeon.
Bludgeon and break bones potentially in
So-
the event of improper use.
Yeah, so
I would love to go ahead.
honestly, like I was
They also sell. They
Go ahead.
also sell a shield to go with the Gladius, which is amazing, and it can take a hell of a punishment. Yep.
Indeed.
Look at Gallagher. I miss you. That was like someone's about to shoot up a school.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wait. He was homeschooled.
I think I was just about 18 when that came around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
that's a bad picture.
Yeah, so let's talk about this from back to front. So it's a TIPX. It's got a stock duct taped onto it.
Mhm.
It has the ergo grip on it. It's got another grip on it. You have two scopes, and then a red dot duct taped onto the top of those.
The EOTech.
Okay.
It was not an EOTech clone either.
And then is
What?
there another another red dot on the side?
What did you? That was a real. You what?
I had for a very short time a legitimate EOTech.
Okay, I had. Explain.
Friend lent it to me, who's actually
okay.
a firearms guy.
I was gonna say because you've never worked in a job where you had the money to just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna spend. Here you go. Oh, then
Like
again,
$600 on an
tools don't
optic.
count. You're too
No,
you're
they-
too frugal to do that. I know better. That's why.
I-
Otherwise, you would have
I
a
am.
fucking gun collection and a half.
Yeah,
You would make everybody we know like start to weep with your gun collection if
well,
you weren't so
that's
frugal.
what it was.
I love
with
that about you.
paint, that's what it was with my paintball collection, because there was like at one point 20 something markers and all functional, and I think I used like one or two of them at a time, and I was like, yeah, this is totally ridiculous. I can't do this anymore. But yeah, so basically what I had strapped on there was I had a car stock with an adjustable buffer tube. I had an ergo grip. I had a Magpul PTS. I had a Harris extendable bipod. I had an NC Star 40 millimeter sight duct taped to the side. I had a 40 millimeter by 120 optic scope that was from my Star 12. I had an NC Star 35 millimeter duct tape on top of that. I had a real EOTech duct taped on top of that. Then I think I put in like a 20-something inch barrel. All these scopes, by the way, are mounted to a scope, a Picatinny clamp that clamps the barrel on a 45-degree angle riser.
Oh my god, I see
And
it.
then underneath that, there's a cold steel Gladius and a 2000 lumens torch attached. This was me mocking people who are like, oh,
And hold on. I want to point out two things. One, trigger discipline. Two, middle finger on the trigger.
that's just a bit of bad shooting habit from shooting autocockers.
Exactly. That drives me fucking bonkers. I just want to
Thankfully, it does not transfer to real steel or anything else. Anytime I handle a paintball gun, I have an automatic.
I'm playing
response
time.
to
What was it? Time.
shoot with the middle finger because of fanning.
Time crisis.
It's
Time
just
crisis?
it's just muscle memory for paintball guns. But yeah, no, that was me just mocking people who are like, my gun's soft mod. I'm like, no, it's not. Just stop.
Oh.
That was funny.
Oh.
So I'm totally using
So
that as
I
the thumbnail.
just
If I remember
stopped
later.
at a wonderful picture of me making a funny face for a second because I have it paused, and when it's paused, it just it shows one little flash of what we're doing. Oh.
So,
I gotta really pay attention to my facial features, facial expressions, and hands, because meme
stuff.
a palooza.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm totally going to use that as the thumbnail though later.
Got
Good.
you.
No, not you. The one from Gallagher.
Oh, Gallagher. Yeah,
Gallagher's.
yes. Skinhead Gallagher.
Because exactly, what do we call the episode? Gallagher Returns. Just that picture.
Return to the Gallagher.
Jesus.
That's I am nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
When I stare like that, I am nightmare fuel.
Hey, I just had a wonderful idea.
Yes.
And this is for the viewers and listeners at home. Send us your feedback about a patch. Would you like one? If we made one, would you buy it?
Would you pay for a Gallagher Nightmare Fuel patch?
No, not Gallagher Nightmare Fuel. A TTP patch.
Good.
I'm sorry, I was off into space. Your Nightmare Fuel scared me a little too far.
Yeah, that's why.
So I walked away. I mentally wandered off to Never Never Land and started designing a patch for us.
To Peter's happy place.
James says yes, he would buy
patches.
a TTP patch.
Well, James is a great guy. James would do a lot of good things.
Yeah,
He's a great guy.
No, it's something we'll look at again.
He's an
in the
actor.
future.
He'll do anything for anything.
Free publicity. So one.
If
patch
anyone's out there hiring strapping young Norwegian-looking blonde-haired, blue-eyed men, I know one, and he's a good guy. Yes. I keep getting yeses.
There we go.
To
You know him
James.
all too well.
I can never. But here's the thing, though: is I can never phonetically pronounce his name because it's got a ch.
Weist.
It's not white. It can't be white.
Weist.
What? Weist.
No, I want to know like the proper.
Hey,
That's
James, phonetically spell it.
Please. I've never
Watch
seen
the
it
comments.
phonetically spelled, and I've even
Fairly sure
even
it-
hung out, and I felt too embarrassed to ask you how it was said.
Okay,
Let's stop the podcast.
Here,
Carry
if
on.
you want a good one, go look up Shaky on Facebook and tell me how you think you pronounce his last name.
I've never. Nope. You gotta spell it out for me, and I'm never gonna be able to. Nope.
Oh. Someone's gonna get his
Hey,
helmet
what is
customized.
that? Segue.
Get you wiring time.
Sorry, Shaky. We love
I
you.
have.
I like how James
Wired.
said that yes to his comment on his name, but we all said it differently, so it's like it's still a mystery, even though he said that someone said it right.
So his last name is Yes.
I have
Yeesh.
very sketchily wired two
James
batteries in
Yeesh.
parallel to get 12 volts
Yes.
for
yes.
everybody here.
X-Files, nice.
X-Files. No.
Um,
Spell your name. Spell it phonetically.
Or you can just call him right now.
It just spells it weak.
Weaked. Oh, hello. I just knocked over my light.
Always good. So Gallagher,
Wait.
go ahead.
Yes.
I was gonna say because you so outside of paintball, because me and you've connected a little bit there. You're a part of the Mandalorian Mercs, so you do your own setup for Star Wars. Hold on, I'll blow it up in a second. So how do you find the transition from I hate you, Nero. How do you find the transition from marker customization to gear customization like that?
Expensive.
Expensive.
I thought I left one hobby, an expensive hobby I loved for a very long time, for another hobby that I thought would be less expensive until I bought two massive 3D printers, a laser engraver, and I just print helmets now.
Laser engraver. Can it engrave glass?
I'm working on methods for that, but it is possible.
Yeah. So
Yeah, working on things.
because it is one thing. Like I
Yes.
think there's really only Patrick Aztec who really kind of does that anymore. Like gets totally dressed up into an attire where it's customized.
For this, he doesn't anymore. He started wearing dye equipment now.
He's
he'll
wearing
transition.
mostly dye now.
Yeah, like I know he's commented that like
DJ.
it's hot. Like he was getting way too worn out from it.
Oh
but-
yeah, especially with these like 30-something degree, 40-something degree days
for
out
sure.
in the hot sun.
Yeah.
Wearing all that fucking what like that was a full suit of armor. What was that made of?
It was the base gear was actual riot gear.
Fun fact: Gallagher and Patrick lived about a kilometer apart forever.
Essentially, we lived. We collaborated. and
City
talked
limit. So you lived on the city limits of where he lived.
Essentially,
It was like a kilometer and a half. Because
Nero, let Gallagher tell the
house
story.
and I've been to his house.
Yeah. So the version 1 of his armor, if I remember
That was
correctly,
creepy.
was a polymer fabric TF3 vest, which is the vest that they used in. I think it was the Transformers movie, the original one that had like all the rubber, the plating and all that stuff. That was his version 1 base, and he had plates attached to that. His second version, I don't remember what it was, but the third version that he's been wearing most currently is actually, if I remember correctly, is actual SWAT gear, like riot gear. So a proper riot chest protector, legs, biceps, and everything, but with resin cast plating on top of that. So his chest pieces are cast resin, and same with his shoulders, and whatever facade piece does not look like a SWAT armor kit is resin cast, if I remember correctly. And then his helmet is sculpted and resin cast with an insert for die I3s or I4s to go in.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, what is resin?
Resin is a 2-part activated thermoplastic of sorts, or a chemical plastic.
Yeah.
I just still don't know how to like properly describe it. Basically, you mix it in 2 parts in the same way that you could mix, say, Bondo or a JB Weld or an epoxy.
Yeah.
But it creates has a chemical reaction when it's forming, and it will basically solidify on whatever it is poured in a liquid form into a mold, and casts in whatever shape it takes, and then solidifies.
Yeah. So that's go ahead.
No.
Yeah, so James said he uses Eva foam, and that was what I was gonna say. Like, there could be like, it's not that, which I think some people thought it was at first, because that would disintegrate under paintballs. Is that correct? Or because I think it's been brought up a couple times.
There was a guy at one of the DC versus Marvel games, I think it was the second one, who made a War Machine style body armor suit, Iron Man. Mm-hmm. I think which he started it as War Machine and then ended up making it into like a cyborg suit. That was entirely constructed out of EVA foam. It is possible to use that for paintball construction, and I've seen a few people do that. For the Millionth Monkey Scenarios Fallout game that we did, we had a person come in with like a partial suit of Fallout armor that was made out of EVA foam. It was not like a suit of power armor, but it was like one of the Raider armors. I think it was a mix between Raider armor and power suit armor. I'm not entirely sure, but that was made out of EVA foam. It is possible to use for paintball application, because when it takes an impact, it'll just kind of sponge it in times. But sometimes if it hits near a seam, it will break. EVA foam, when it comes to costuming requirements, is generally treated as like a very low quality way of doing things, unfortunately, because it does deteriorate rather quickly under use. So anything that needs to be used multiple times, like if you want to use a costume more than 3 or 4 times without having to do any maintenance on it, then EVA is not the way to go, because it tends to, you get tears and edges, your paint starts to wear off, because you actually have to, it's an open cell foam, and you actually have to heat it to close the cells, cure the top with usually what people sometimes use as watered down white glue to basically seal all the pores, and then you can paint it, and that becomes a huge pain in the butt with processing and speed and actual durability.
So
that's not what his armor is made out of.
So, and because like I said, a lot of cosplayers do use it, so just for the distinction, so DJ Aslan was asking in the comments from what Aztec does use, so you pretty much make a mold and then pour this in. Is that essentially what it is, the resin
depending
cast?
Depending on the part. So if you're doing something like a helmet, you would do a multi-piece mold that is made out of silicone, so a soft-shelled mold, and then you'd have an exterior.
Can I trade in my old one, and you can just resell it?
No.
Come on, let manufacture issue. It broke.
You broke that shit.
No,
you broke it.
Fell.
Let him finish, and then we'll talk about the helmet.
Less than a foot, and then it shattered.
In the case of a helmet and such, you would create a 1-piece silicone mold, and then you would create a 2-piece exterior hard shell mold, and you would take a specific type of resin designed for what's called rotocasting.
He's just listening. He's just showing off his commando helmet.
You'll pour in a small amount of the resin, and you basically quickly rotate and toss the cast around, so the resin gets in all the little areas, and you do 5 or 6 coats, however thick you need the helmet to be. That's how you do a helmet, and then you pull it from the cast and do cleanup. In the case of his armor, it could have been a rotocast set, or it could have been just a solid, like a plaster style mold, which you can do for certain pieces, and then a poured in resin that becomes hard, and then you can extract it. Okay. I don't remember which way he did it specifically.
But there's multiple ways. So before Nero explodes, he wants to say something.
No. On the shaky thing, I have to show you how to do it. There's a lovely little rig I saw that is a great. All you need is a couple of clamps and maybe some 1x3. It's a great little. It looks like a gyroscope.
Yeah, it's rotocasting.
Yeah, but it's all just made out of like basic Home Depot hardware that you could do because you could do it because it's you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those,
And basically what that does, sorry, just for those who, what that does is it's like a box inside of a box. It kind of looks like a tesseract, and it spins in 4 dimensions, so that it fills the whole resin at once. It's what we use for casts and all that stuff, and in effects for when you're doing like molds and all kinds of shit.
yeah. So
Using not just resin, but there's 100, whatever. Go ahead. Foam, the whole 9. Go ahead.
yeah. So to jump onto the helmet, because you do have a bunch behind you, and you've been holding one up here, and Brandon did make a comment about the Clone Wars one. So, did you print that one that's in your hand, or was that?
Yes. This actually all except for the one right there. All except for that one were done on my 3D printer.
Okay.
All of them were printed in a single piece, such as this, because these printers are flipping massive.
Yeah.
They can print this helmet in a single piece. Yeah. So these stupid. Okay. My really ghetto electronics are making sounds that they shouldn't be. But yes. They were all 3D printed in a single piece, and then resin coated and finished.
Show them the one I really like. Actually, you know what that one reminds me of?
Which one? There's like 8 of them.
Sorry, the gray one, farthest one to your right.
The Death
left,
Watch
that one. Yes. No, that's not Death Watch. He called it. What did you call it?
The Executioner.
Executioner. My bad. Yeah, because that's the new style right now, right?
Darth Bane.
Somewhat. It's got a
that's
mix.
what I see. It's a very Mandalorian Darth Bane. That just like I was looking at it as you were talking about the other ones, and that's all I could think of. Now the other one, it just for me it looks like an Urukai, but that's because I'm a Nord of the Rings fan, Lord of the Rings fan,
Nerd of the Dinks,
Nerd of the Dinks.
Jarvis likes it. People take long walks.
Oh
for
fuck
9
me!
hours.
I haven't seen that. That's like a snow trooper almost, or
Wait, this was just a random paint job I decided to do.
No. What's the helmet?
Some people may actually recognize it.
What's the name of the helmet design?
It is. Some people are aware that there were, before the original Boba Fett design, there was 2 different designs done by the artist Ralph McQuarrie, who did all of the helmets and costumes. This is the very original design. It is called the Ralph McQuarrie version 1 concept. Then they did a version that looks more similar to the current Boba Fett called the prototype. This is the very first version that they looked at and they're like, just redesigned it. But fun fact, if anyone who's watched Clone Wars, this character's helmet actually popped up as a character called Rako Hardeen, who Obi-Wan, spoiler alert, Obi-Wan had to
and
disguise himself as.
The other one too is that I forget the character's name, but from Force Awakens, there's a guy who has a red outfit.
Yeah, he's very a clone or something.
No, he's not a clone, but there's a story with him. He's a pirate. I know that much.
He was. That was a character that has no actual backstory yet.
Oh no,
are you talking about? Are you talking about which pirate are you talking about?
So there's a red. So I was reading I don't know if it was extended universe, if it was actually, or it was a fan theory, but there's supposed to be a clone that found out about Order 66.
Yeah,
and was frozen got blah blah blah. Clone Wars. It's from Clone Wars. He got frozen, reanimated in the future. Starts going on about it. Thank you. Loved Clone Wars. It was amazing. And then it turns out that he's actually one of the characters in the cantina in Force Awakens. Just like. Sorry, let me just finish. Rex is he was in Endor. He was in the Battle of Endor. That was fucking amazing. That blew me away. I was like, no, it's Rex.
And the fact that he actually confirmed it. The fact that the guy confirmed it.
Me away. Well, Lucas never actually confirmed it himself.
No, but the guy who did all of the Clone Wars stuff and Rebels said
I play Star Wars. Oh, it's all gross and slimy.
But
I play Star Wars every day. I love this game more than anything. Star Wars Heroes. It's a wonderful little tune spawner, and apparently DJ used to play it, and he stopped. I actually run a guild. It's actually kind of cool. It's called the Bat Family because I'm such a Bat fanatic, and apparently everybody in my guild had no idea because they were such Star Wars that they had no idea about what the Bat Family meant, and I kind of hurt a lot on the inside, and I was like, does anybody know what Nero Wolf was?
Yeah, so it's Sidon Ithanu is the name that I was referencing.
Yeah.
So
the one with the long
red
sides.
Yeah. I know
exactly what you're talking about.
He was a smuggler.
Yeah, so the helmet reminded me, but then when I looked at the picture, I'm like, not quite the same. It was the eyes.
Well, DJ,
The
now
eyes
there's
out.
guilds, and I have one and search for it. Now there's guild searches. It's called the Bat Family. Look it up. If you join, just join. If you can't join, send me a private message, and I'll make sure you can.
So
it's my guild.
Yeah.
I will make it.
One of the prop makers I know actually did just recently create a version of that season Ardano helmet.
Mm-hmm.
No, someone else. He's from Germany, but he's a mutual friend that has been creating stuff. Mika Sneaker is the mutual friend. I don't remember the name of the actual prop maker. I've been
German gentleman. Where's he from? Is he from Düsseldorf?
I don't know specifically.
I know where he's from. I knew a guy who was a prop maker way back Wednesday, and he started off making Voldemort noses out of latex way back, way back.
I'm gonna see if I can find his page. But
hashtag sponsor. Who's sponsor? What? I'm confused. Oh, do we have any sponsors? Yeah, our sponsor, I guess, is still milsigdirect.ca and
Patch Panel more. So we have
patchpanel.ca. Sorry, nothing from milsigdirect.ca.
Yeah,
but patchpanel.ca. We definitely have a referral link, which is stop jerking off. What the hell was that? Were you itching your crotch?
No, I'm kneecap.
You were just fapping.
No, I'm kneecap.
It's not that long, Billy. It's not that long. I'll be right back. Sorry, 1 minute, guys.
So Gallagher, with the helmets, because it's something me and you've talked about extensively. So that is something, like, would you recommend, because people want to get into the custom gear, things like that, what do you think is the best thing paintball wise to get into customizing? Like, because everyone gets their markers going a little bit, the patches. What do you think would be the best avenue for people?
When it comes to paintball customizing, it comes down to the types of players that people are and their background skill set, because the easiest thing obviously to customize is your gear, being your loadout and your marker. You're kind of very limited besides that if you don't really have any other skills. I've seen a few people who are actually kind of stitch wizards and are actually creating their own rigs and pouches and whatnot to accommodate their specific need, but that also comes to a very limited appeal. There are a few people I've run into that have taken the cosplay aspect of things and kind of combined it with paintball. Patrick obviously being one. Yeah. There's also, I can never remember his name. I've come across him at PRZ a few times. He's a guy who has the red and black everything. He's got a katana on his back and all that, all 9 yards. Seth Baldock. Yeah. There's a few people like that add a specific element to their kit.
Amazing.
Obviously not 100% functional all the time, but however, it increases their look, and the occasional time they get to pull the fucking katana and
no, those are they're zip tied in. They don't move.
I had a feeling they didn't move, but hey, you know what? It looks cool.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of the only thing you can do in paintball that's actually like there's no benefit. It's all for what you want, what you like. Reach. Yeah, of course.
If I have a pair of Deadpool katanas, if I ever decide to take the Deadpool costume back out again, I'm gonna go to town. Pistol. I'm gonna make sure that the ref is like, yeah, you are invincible as long as you only use a pistol and your swords. And I will go to fucking town on people. Like I will just, I will do whatever like little rule they want to throw in. Or if I get a headshot, I drop for however long. But I will fucking go like, I will go so hard. It was supposed to happen for one of the first Marvel vs. DCs, but then Deadpool 2 showed up, or whatever you want to call him, and it sucked. It really pissed me off.
Yeah, so Brandon had a comment, it's all fashion. So a good comment in there too. So when it comes to making
fashion your show. Oh, you want to see some cool shit? My wife loves Halloween-y stuff. She bought me, because we're on the topic of Star Wars. Her family in the States bought, it's all whitewashed out. It's a Stormtrooper, yeah. Whatever.
Stormtrooper pumpkin.
Stormtrooper pumpkin. It's so fucking cool. It lights up, but I refuse to plug it in because, fire hazards indoors. Yeah. In a condo. There's a lot of old people.
So for those that are looking to make the custom gear, because you can, like, I've seen people where, like, you put the mask on. Like, so one of the guys posted earlier, like, he got in a skull mask and then hydro dipped it in Cryptek, and he's like, it looked amazing, but all it did was fog up his mask. So one thing there, like definitely like make sure you have your ventilation, and like I'm with you guys. Marker mods are fun, but functionality versus fashion for that.
100%.
Gear wise, if you can reload a mag and drop a mag quick enough, I think personal body totally go to fashion show on that one. So one person asked, like, is there preferred material to 3D print with durability for active playing? Like, because I know George was doing his 3D mounted cameras for a long time, but we haven't. And then there has been like the odd like mod picking rail mod for certain things. But I've never really seen like, is there a good print? Because there's what are they? The vector kits from Maker.
Everything from Ray Laskowski. Everything that he makes is like god tier.
Yeah.
Dying. I actually was beta testing his vector kit when he first released it. I'm like, I'm buying this now. You're giving this to me. I'm testing it for you. He's like, because I'm also with 3D printing. I think the one I had was it was original version black one. I still have it lying around. But essentially, it was like, because he knew I was a 3D printing person, I would be able to get a second opinion on it, and it would be a bit more validated than a regular user. So I was able to take a look at that.
He said I seen. Isn't there a rule on the internet now? 3 strikes and you're out with your written grammar, or is that just, Evan?
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah, it was just Evan.
So
it's just Evan. Oh, I thought it was real. I thought there was a real like grammar that needs to happen. 3 strike rule. If you can type it, you can type it properly.
So there are some very preferred.
Sorry, I didn't mean to draw attention. It just caught my eye, and
so
my OCD.
As I have it right here, there are some materials that are.
What is it? Pronoun game.
You go on the weirdest tangent sometimes.
I was curious with the pronoun game. Like, what is it? What is the it? What is the it we were talking about? Because I was off somewhere else.
Okay, we are on the tangent of types of
good
plastic
3D printing material.
Well aware. What's in the bag? What's in the box?
What's in the box? Where's the trimmer? So
that much.
To make a time.
I have
for you.
two different examples of a high quality filament to use. The majority of plastic that people tend to use because it's the easiest to print with, lowest cost, and the lowest adjustment maintenance whatsoever with your machine is called PLA. It is a corn oil based plastic that is a very good plastic to use. However, it is heat sensitive and is not exactly high impact rated. So in a lot of cases, you're going to get snapping. You can bake it, literally stick it in an oven and bake it to literally temper the plastic. However, the next option was called ABS, which everyone knows ABS pipe. ABS was okay to work with, but the problem was it required high heat. You needed an enclosure to keep the heat in, and you had ABS fumes, which suck. So from that point, there's a material that's been around for a very long time, and Ray Laskowski has actually used it quite a bit. It is actually high density strength nylon. It's backwards, but you can actually print.
It's only backwards for you. It's fine on the.
Oh, yeah. So this is Bridge Tolman high impact strength nylon. This has a much greater flexibility rating than regular filament, a higher melting point, so it has a better bond because it's melted at a higher point and it bonds to the other layers at that same point. So it's annealing itself to the layers, gives it a better density and a better rigidity, but still having flexibility to it. It's more expensive and a lot more difficult to print because it's very abrasive.
Naturally.
Hold it up one more time. Hold it up one more time. Just I blew you up so they could see it better. Okay.
What's what's it called exactly?
It's called industrial high strength nylon. This stuff is Tolman Bridge, is the brand.
Where'd you buy that from?
That I don't remember. The website is www.
Online. Online's good enough.
30.
Oh, it's on there. Perfect.
Yes, it's on there. But next from that...
Sorry, one more time, because I was talking over you. My mistake.
www.tolman3d.com is the website that's listed on there. However, it may not be where you can actually purchase it from. Most 3D printing sources you can buy from. The next material I use is actually called PETG. Also, like nylon and ABS, it has a higher melting point and a lot better density. PLA, for example, melts at about 200 degrees Celsius. ABS melts at about 220 degrees Celsius. And this stuff melts at 250 degrees Celsius. So in order to print with this, you have to have a machine capable of reaching that temperature. And you also have to have a hot end that is all metal or with a high heat break. The typical plastic that feeds inside is called PTFE liner. and that stuff actually starts to melt and decompose at around 245 degrees. So you can't print this stuff with a regular hot end. On the offside,
just a question here. So if I had a soldering iron, I could use that, say, to solder my helmet back together on the inside?
Effectively, but you can do that with PLA also.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's what I actually used to use for a long time. But
Any chance you could hook me up with a little, like,
yes, give you a chunk.
28 inches?
I can give you a meter.
Ooh.
Regardless. Yes.
Full
Or
meter.
I could just give you like some really good super glue, miter bond. But yes, this plastic has a much higher density rating. It also has a better surface finish, better impact, but it's more difficult to print with, and a lot of people don't because it takes a lot of tweaking. So in the instance of you wanting to have something 3D printed for paintball use, if it's like a marker kit, the other stuff that that Ray uses that I have not tried is actually carbon fiber inlaid nylon filament. This stuff is Rayless. I think his last name is Leskowski. That I can't remember how to pronounce it, but MagFed maker, the creator of the M14 kit and the Chris kit. But that stuff is amazing to work with. It's extremely abrasive on your nozzle, the tip of the 3D printer, and you have to constantly replace them when you're working with it. However, this stuff is strong as hell. It's fucking carbon fiber inlay.
Yeah. No,
it's great. It's expensive to work with.
Yeah. So
I'm not playing games anymore.
You're not playing games anymore.
No, I'm just kidding. There's no feud here. We're actually. It's actually. Sorry, hold on. I frequent the Joe Rogan podcast, and recently he had Jim Norton, who's probably one of my favorite stand-up comedians of all time, and he used to do a podcast with I can't remember whom, but he was talking about how like eventually they started to hate each other slowly over time, and it would just like you could tell. I watched a couple of the last episodes just because I like to, somebody says something, I like to, find some evidence of the two of them talking to each other from these podcasts, and you could just see Jim just like arms crossed, sitting back in his chair, like, yeah, Is
this why you keep inviting me on? So you guys can talk to...
No, not at all. Not at all. I invite you on, Gallagher, because you're a wonderful individual, and you keep the conversation going. If it was just the two of us without a set schedule, I would just ramble for hours, and I would just sit in the comments like a little whore, and nobody would ever... Whoa! Sorry, I opened something, and I don't know what it was. Carry on.
Continue.
Okay, that got weird.
I got lost. Where was I?
People getting mad with each other.
Oh yeah, sorry. So Jim Norton and his fellow podcastian started hating each other, and it turned into them. One of them ended up getting fired, and it was just it was bad. But it was just you could see it in them, because for those of you who were listening and not watching, Tyler and I have been flipping each other off the entire show just for fun and the sort.
Oh yeah,
because
we care.
We're old.
It's because we care, and we're totally mature people.
I know. Well, you gotta be cool for the listeners.
So, Gallagher, you did actually get a really cool shout out in there from DJ Asylum, because he was commenting that he'd love to sit down for a few hours and just listen to you talk about 3D printing, because you are very into it. Asylum? I'm saying that right, I think. I don't know. The DJ though. So you definitely got some love.
Yeah.
Derek.
Well, no, I can ramble about 3D printing for a long time. That's why I only have a 1 hour lunch break at work.
Only. Oh, those 1 hour long union.
Sorry, it's technically 45 minutes. Okay. You can't talk much about 3D printing in 45 minutes. Okay.
This is true.
At least not with other people who 3D print. For the sake of it, I work with a guy who does props, and we're collaborating on some stuff, including doing rotocast resin helmets. Yes, and full armor for these.
Oh, for the listeners. So, while I was away, I actually had a couple of days off of work because they crew down whenever things are done and you're no longer needed, and I'm not needed. Gallagher, who is amazing. My spoon is too big. Not the spoon.
Not the big spoon.
My anus is bleeding.
I feel like me and you first we have to do a trolling episode on each other. Just prep it.
Too late.
We're
already doing it.
We're gonna start poke fun all the time.
I am a banana. I love that one. That's my absolute favorite. No. My anus is bleeding. It's still pretty. My anus is bleeding. Sorry.
Rusty salad fingers.
What? Did you say rusty salad fingers?
Don't start salad fingers. No, I can't do it. My wife gets, she fucking hates that voice more than anything. And when I really want to get it under her skin, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do it.
I gotta stop laughing. I can try and do the other one.
What were you saying, Peter? You got totally sidetracked.
I got lost in my beer.
It's okay, boys. That'll happen sometimes.
That was horrible.
I know. I haven't done that in years. Gallagher, Brandon was asking how much for a full set of armor. I think me and you talked about it's just under $1,000, roughly.
You do a full set?
No, not for. It depends on what he's talking about. If he's talking about a set of armor for Republic Commando, those styles of armor, because they're usually either vacuum formed, which is thermoplastic over a vacuum table, sucking it down onto a mold to split shape, or resin cast, go from with a helmet between $800 US to $1,500 US, depending on the quality of the kit. If we're talking about Mandalorian armor, and this is generally build it yourself because you can do this extremely easily.
Instead of making Mandalorian armor, I made a whiteboard for my background. What a waste of $90. $90 or $180? $60. Whatever. What a waste of money.
But yeah, so on average, when you're creating a custom Mandalorian set of armor, it depends on how into it you're going. You can find people who commission build kits. You'll get a helmet for about $250, and you'll get a set of armor for maybe $200. If you're commissioning the paint job as well, it gets up to $1,000 just for that. But if you're building the kit yourself, if you're building a set of Mandalorian armor yourself, holy fucking dog!
I know, right?
Skitters. So you're looking about under $1,000 easily for a kit. Entry level, my first kit cost me about $300, I'd say, because I did all the sewing myself on the soft goods. I repurposed old Condor pouches and belts and stuff like that. And when it came around to it, it was not a high quality kit, but the beauty of this thing is that you can always be adding to it, and it's custom. So you're not limited to a specific character. You're just limited to guidelines within the club, being that your costume has to be of a certain quality because it's Lucasfilm registered, essentially. It's right. Lucasfilm. It's affiliated. But yeah, you can build.
Expo. They were pretty cool. There was a ton of R2s. I think there's a picture of me
they had the R2 Builders Club.
Yeah.
R2 Builders Club is pretty cool. One of my friends is actually working on 2 different R series units right now.
You got to start dropping names.
Shout out Justin Tomlinson.
There you go. Justin! Holy fuck! Yeah, he was building one of those.
He's got enough parts for 2 or 3.
Instead of just saying my friends, we got to start doing it. You have to work on that, man. And drop names because this is a very verbal thing. My friend, this guy, that's not evidence. That's not proof. That's not real. Give me something I can tangibly be like, hey. So Gallagher said you did something. Is that true, or is he full of shit?
Justin Tomlinson has enough parts to build probly 2 or 3 R series units now. He basically started building one with I think acrylic. Actually, sorry. He started 3D printing one, and then he started doing acrylic parts, and then he started buying aluminum parts instead, and was just
that was a while ago. He started aluminum back when we did that Citrus Hangout. No.
He may have been. I'm not entirely sure. He's been working on it for a long time, but an R series unit is a very long project because it's a very expensive project. By the time you're done, you're looking at about $2,000 for a droid that you control with a joystick. So it's awesome as hell. Yeah, you can. They have the PlayStation. The Wiimotes. They have a PlayStation.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, there's a Bluetooth style PlayStation remote that you can really just control all the actions from. And you can have it in your sleeve, so you could be walking around with your arm down and just, driving an R series.
Instead of those guys who are sitting with the big fucking RC remotes that are like, yeah, that's so. It kind of takes away from the.
It does. One of the troops I went on, there was a guy dressed as an Imperial officer, and I wondered how he was controlling it. And I looked down, and he had this little joystick in his hand, in his sleeve, and he had his arm down at his side, driving the robot around.
That's cool.
But yeah.
Love an R4 unit.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting to see all of it. So, But I do think we're going to have to call the show just because we are getting just over the hour mark. And I know Nero always gets mad when I say that because he's like, I want to rant more and drink some beer. So maybe on when we go back to Sundays.
The only chance I get. Yeah, but Sundays still have Mondays.
Sundays still have Mondays, that's true, but I'll be working later.
And Monday only works for you because I work at 7 a.m. and Gallagher works at 7 a.m.
Yeah, but you're going to work on a Friday at 7 a.m. usually, aren't you?
We always have this fight. I love you, man. It's fine. I don't mind. I know. I hate it though. I just like.
Because we're having fun
I wish we had long days. But Sundays are better because we can start whatever we want. We can finish whatever we want. But I wish we'll have to talk. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So yeah,
indeed.
So for those that are doing that, we are going to be Thursday next week, same 8:30 Eastern, depending on traffic. Sometimes, but then we're going to switch back to Sundays, probably go back to bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, but we'll probably extend the shows a little bit more. We will extend the shows a little bit more. But yeah, so Gallagher, thank you so much for coming on, talking custom gear. For those that missed the earlier one, go to the beginning 15 minutes or so. You'll see the original HCS, which was like my favorite part of the show because that was so cool to see. Nero, thank you for trolling. As always,
co-hosting,
trolling.
Oh, that's all, folks. Thanks a lot. Hey, I don't Porky Pig that much anymore. I used to really bad, but I've learned to stop and think about what I'm saying half of the time.
Yeah. So for paintball wise, you guys will definitely catch me on the field 2 weeks from now. Sectors 57 Zombie Mini Event is no special pricing. BYOP is an option. Check it out on Facebook. Sector 57 just north of Oshawa. Gallagher, you hitting the field anytime soon, or you're still being
Never.
Or
we're gonna have to take you to Gotham. I will black bag you and pay for it.
Refuse to play Gotham because I'm holding on to my cherished memories of CQB that I do not want overwritten
holding
by
memories,
this place.
dude. It's a different field. It is a different field. I went back there.
I don't want it to even get close.
I went back. No. Listen, it's beyond. It's not even close.
Save data cannot be corrupted. Will not overwrite.
It's not overwriting. It's a whole new field. It's totally different. The dynamics are different.
I
went back. I played it. I opened my mind. 30%, 38%. Or something to that effect.
I think so. Anyways,
Samsung, hit us up. Let us know. You're the masters.
As a YouTube,
paying for copyright fees.
One of my bosses is like R&D, rent, and duplicate. He loves saying that. He's a wealth of like little one-liners. It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Wonderful, but he's also he's a legend. Tim Lidstone. He worked on like everything from Rain to one of the Saws. The original Boondocks.
Well, the movie.
But he's like a fat little old army sergeant, with a crew cut. The only thing he's missing is like an old stogie that he could just chomp on all day.
Kind of, yeah. He looks like he's missing that though.
So I have a question for you two, just before we go too far, because I'm not going to ask about movies, but if we were to sit through the credits, would we see your names in there, or would you just see the companies you worked for?
Yeah.
Just the companies you worked for?
Unless you're the head carpenter or the key.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious, because
not even the first season of this show that we work on. Actually, you know what? The departments change so rapidly between hiatuses that sometimes they don't even put it in at all. Special effects changed 3 times in 2 seasons, and then paint changed, props changed. No, props has been on the whole time, and so is set. No, props changed, set deck changed, a whole bunch of things. Shit just changes. Crews don't get along, whatever happens. But
interesting. Yeah, interesting thing. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking it out.
People sell their shit.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking us out tonight. You can find us on Facebook under Talking Tactical Podcast, on Instagram, Talking Tactical, Twitter, if you want to go have Nero troll you a little bit as well. And we will see you guys on the field. Catch you later.
I don't troll. Take care, guys. Again, thanks for coming in, Talking Tactical. Gallagher, thank you for coming out. Everyone, if you want to find me again, Instagram, Nero Wolf. Facebook, not Neurowolf. Don't do it. I'll fucking kill you. And then that's about it. Instagram. I take care of the Twitter. You take care of the Facebook. We're good. We're not done. We're done. Are we done? Did you cut it? Did you cut it on me again? Didn't you? Say goodnight, Bob. Good night, Bob.
Bob Saget.